Hello, happy autumn equinox, happy Maybon, everyone. How are you doing? Hope you're doing great. I am doing my 198th video, and it will be on Thanatos. Thanatos, he is a titan, the spirit, the personification of death, but his death was a peaceful death. And here is a good card on him. Thanatos, Warden of Dees, Completion, Support, Expediency. It is from the Mausolea of Oracles of Souls, illustrated by Jason Engel. I got this on Amazon. So Thanatos, some people consider Hades, actually Hades, as a spirit of death. It is Thanatos, not Hades, which is pronunciation would be Hades in Greek. So Thanatos, he doesn't play a major role in the Greek myths. And many feared him, many hated him, many scorned him, even to this day. For the fear of death is very real. And the disrespect of death. And the power of death has been very concerning to people since the beginning of time. The not knowing, where do you go? When you die, what does it all mean? And people to this day are trying to cheat death and gain immortality of their body. With Thanatos was seen as a winged human-like figure. Then later on he is seen like this, and as time goes on and on, he takes on the form of the Grim Reaper. So Thanatos does a job, but as some feel, he actually has a shitty job. But his death, his power is to bring death peacefully. But he is still the spirit and power of death. His death is usually considered peacefully, but when you think about it, when death was chained up and tricked by Sisyphus and no one could die, Ares, pronounced Ares in Greek, didn't think war was fun anymore. What's the fun of it if no one dies? So he and of course Hades was one of the gods, one of the two gods that wanted Thanatos back. And in case you don't know, Hades rules Hades. He rules the underworld. But we still gotta explore who Thanatos is, right? So let's get to it. Thanatos. Did he have a cult? If there was, not a lot is known about it. Again, he had a thankless, unappreciative job. He is the son of Erebus and the son of Nyx. Erebus is the darkness. Nyx is the goddess of night. I did a presentation on her, so look that up on my channel. And his twin brother is the god of sleep, Hypnos. So you gotta be shitting me. You're already starting. Okay, Loki, where did you go? And what are you looking at, Joker? Joker, don't do it. Alrighty, people. So Thanatos his flower that's associated with him is the poppy. His color is, of course, black. You gotta be kidding me. Come on! Mew Mew! Sorry. I'll be right back. Mew Mew? Sir Mew Mew, if you want to stay here, you have to be a good boy. No. Don't you complain. Do you want to go? Then you be a good boy. Joker, would you like to be gone? Come on. Shit. Sorry, guys. No, no. Dear God, don't do that. Don't. Look at this bad boy. Come on, man. This is why I'm a laughing stock. Knock it off. I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry, folks. So, just bear with me. It's crazy here. Thanatos has the reputation of being merciless, mean, nasty, evil, cold-hearted. But again, he is associated with a peaceful death. Because he does his job, and he does his job without any reservations, without any, he doesn't, pick and choose who's going to live forever. He is not, he, like Santa Muertes, are closed to no one. Okay, Joker? Mew Mew. You're out of here. You're out of here. I have crazy cats, and I don't have a program where I can just, pause this and restart this. I just don't want to do that. I just like to just deal with it, please. If you're new to this channel, oh, I guess you'll get used to my craziness. To the craziness. So, where was I? Again, I don't have notes. I don't use a script. So Thanatos, oh jeez, his creatures are notably the snake and the butterfly. So Thanatos is also the inspiration for the Marvel Thanos. If there's any Marvel fans out there, so Thanatos was not. Here's another misconception that he's ruler of the dead. Nope, he is not the ruler of the dead. So don't confuse him with that. That's Hades and Persephone, not Thanatos. He, like, that's right, he wasn't cruel. He was a rather stoic spirit. He did his job without regret or without mercy. And of course, he was feared for that. And Thanatos was tricked, and there's a story about that. Is that about Sisyphus, who ruled Corinth? It was a city before it became Corinth, and Sisyphus was a king, and he was a son of Aeolus. I'm sure maybe you know about Hercules and the legendary journeys, but that's where they got the name Aeolus. But Aeolus, who was a god of the winds, and he had a son, Sisyphus, who was very tricky, very intelligent, but had a nasty side to him. But he was a man who used his wealth to increase his fame, his wealth, his power. And this king took advantage, and he did things for his city to get like a fresh spring of water for his city. And Sisyphus had a thing where he pissed off Zeus, the king of the god, who we know him as Zeus, but in Greek is Zeus. And what he did to infuriate him was he broke the rules of hospitality. Instead of being hospitable to the outsider, to the immigrant, to those who ventured into his city, sometimes he would kill them. So anyways, he pisses off Zeus and demanded that Thanatos claim him. Upon hearing this, Sisyphus told his, of course, you gotta be kidding, boy. You cannot go up there and you know this. So Sisyphus was a crafty god, and of course Hades, who is also said to send Thanatos, of course on the real Zeus now, he gave Thanatos some chains because he said, be careful of Sisyphus when you come to claim him, because he's a pretty crafty guy. Well, when Thanatos showed upon himself to Sisyphus and said, "You need to come with me," Sisyphus, and Thanatos is, again, this shows that he's not a cruel ass in this story. He goes, "Before you take me, may I see your chains? What are these for? Oh, can you demonstrate them with me?" And he had chained up Thanatos. Now, for several days, people did not die, no matter what happened. You get stabbed, you get pushed, strangled, but you didn't die. You lived. And of course, this happened to just piss off Ares and, of course, Hades, and basically they got him freed. So when Thanatos was finally to call upon Sisyphus, Sisyphus told his wife, "Do not perform any funeral rites for me," you know. So when he's brought down to the underworld, he's greeted by Hades. He's there with Hades and Persephone, and he especially told Persephone that I need to go back just for a few days because my wife did not perform her duties for me of my funeral rites. So let me come back and let me discipline my wife, and I'll come back. So he tricked the gods again. He comes back in his body and he tries to get away with it. Well, of course, Thanatos was dispatched at Sisyphus again, and Zeus devised a punishment for him, and now he's going to go to Tartarus, and for all eternity he is ordered to push up a boulder, to go to the top of a mountain, but the boulder will always come down, and he has to keep trying to push that boulder up for all eternity. Now, there was also a fight between Thanatos and Hercules. Heracles had to wrestle Thanatos to save the life of his good friend Admetus. His wife was Alcestis. And Admetus was supposed to die unless someone takes his place to allow him some time. In which Alcestis said, "I will take your spot. I love you. I will be the good wife and I will take your spot." So, of course, Admetus had Heracles protect her. So when Thanatos, at the allotted time came for her, Heracles wrestled Thanatos and actually won. Heracles won and was able to prolong her life. But again, death will always have its due, right? Now, Thanatos was originally depicted as a young man with wings. Then, of course, he became an older man with wings, and he had a beard. And later on, he also became seen as a snake with wings. Then later, as I say, he becomes the Grim Reaper. Hypnos, his brother, sleep, and Thanatos frequently portrayed with each other. So what happens if you want to give offerings to Thanatos? If that is what you would like to do, I would suggest poppies, flour, poppy seeds, maybe bread with poppy seeds or bagels with poppy seeds, black candles, images of a sacred creature. Give them offering. Now we're in the this will be more modern. Anything to deal with Halloween or the Day of the Dead. Bread, pan de muertos. Am I saying that right? Pan del muertos, the bread of the dead. Think of chocolate. Make a pumpkin pie for him. Everyone's going crazy for pumpkin spice. This is the season for pumpkin spice, so maybe give a little offering to Thanatos. Wine, especially red wine, a good either a savory wine, a good well-bodied wine, or a sweet wine, or whatever wine you can afford. His attribute is a sword, as well as an inverted torch. Why an inverted torch? Because it represents life being snuffed out. So an inverted torch. He is considered one of the chthonic deities and a psychopomp. Psychopomp is a deity that deals with the dead. So, what else can I talk about him? I've been blabbing this whole time. His time would, well, everyone dies every second. But if you want a lot of time, think of solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, the dark moon, midnight to 3 a.m., or you can think about when the sun goes down is a good time to talk to Thanatos. Where can Thanatos, his spirit, be found? Where the dead are kept. Mortuaries, funeral homes, morgues, graveyards, small or big, doesn't matter. Even a pet cemetery. Cremation grounds, crematoriums. Thanatos can be found even in hospitals where people died. Especially how can I put this lightly? A retirement home for senior citizens. Because that's the last place they go to die. Well, you don't have to associate that with let's strike that off the record. But anywhere a death has occurred, which is anywhere, but especially if it's recently, one could find Thanatos. The type of dirt you would use for Thanatos is, and again, use your wits about you. You don't want to create a haunting, but you also, if you take anything from a graveyard, remember to replace it. If you take some, ask permission for the dirt from the graveyard spirits and offer some candy or some spirits or maybe some change. Don't litter. Don't get caught doing it either. Yeah, some people don't take kindly of people now even taking dirt. I never got caught, but just be careful. Ossuaries are a cool place. It's a church built with skulls, but there's also temples built with skulls and human remains. It's a pretty cool reminder of the dead. So you can visit one for that, for Thanatos. So, dirt from a funeral home, by a funeral home, a cremation ground. Again, if you go to a cremation ground, the same rules applies as for a cemetery. Leave an offering, ask permission, give thank you very much. Make sure nothing follows you home. Tell whatever spirit you're really not allowed to follow me home, but I thank you for your hospitality. So, don't piss off the dead. Be respectful, even to the spirits. Be respectful to nature. Be respectful to animals. Be respectful to yourself and each other. Right? Now, there is a Greek vase painting that I'm aware of that Thanatos was. He's an older man. He has a beard. And rarely as a bearded youth, but I know there is a vase of him painting with a beard. Now, nowadays, in modern times, not only is his attribute a sword, but guess what also became his attribute later on? The scythe. What planetary power would you say? What do you think he belongs to? Some are going to say Saturn as well as Pluto. And that's understandable to give him both those planetary powers. Time of year to definitely honor him is Samhain. So, Day of the Dead. Or, think about this. Even the Chinese, I think it's in August. It's Hungry Ghost Month. It's a good time to recognize Thanatos. I think did it fall in this August? Sorry. Another thing that's attribute to him is a wreath. A wreath. Now the butterfly. Why the butterfly? Because I know I'm going to get asked that. I could understand a serpent or a snake, but why the butterfly? Because the butterfly symbolizes the spirits of the dead, the soul of the dead. Now, in Latin, his name is Mors, M-O-R-S. M-O-R-S, not to be confused with Mars. That's a totally different deity. Now, he okay, I'm trying to think about what I wanted to talk about, and it slipped my mind. I'm very sorry for that. Now, there's also the story of Sarpedon. So I'll just go on to this. Sarpedon is a son of Zeus. Now Hera tells Zeus about the approaching doom, the death of his son Sarpedon. Now Zeus, wanted him to have a good death. So he ordered Thanatos to carry his son away and Hypnos to bring him to sleep, to carry him away from the battlefield and bring him to the countryside where he can have a decent burial, a proper burial. Will give to him the countryside of Lycia. It's spelled Lycia, but it's supposed to be pronounced Lycia. So he has that done for his son because he didn't want his son to not have a good death and not have a proper burial. So, hey, he's the king of the gods. He can do what he feels for his son. Now, I do know there were sacrifices that were offered to Thanatos, but no temples have been found. So that's what I mean. Did he have his own cult? I would like to know. That would be cool to know. But sacrifices were offered to him. So what animals were sacrificed to him? Well, he definitely wouldn't have gotten, when animal sacrifice was done, he probably got sinew and bones, and of course the blood. The head, I'm not sure. I do know the type of quality meat was given to the Olympians, so the heavenly ones. And usually chthonic days, especially the underworld deities, of course, a pit was dug, and the bones and blood was dripped down there. So, things were put on the ground. Oh, what else do I want to, if I can remember what I wanted to talk about? The city of, which is now, I don't remember the old name. It started with a G-A-D, Gadiria, but is now Gibraltar, which is in Spain. So this is like a situated place at the end or the extreme end of Europe. They had an altar set up to the Geras, the god of old age, Geras. So he's the spirit of old age. And here in Gibraltar, and Gadiria. I'm sorry, guys, but they actually sang hymns in honor of Thanatos. They would praise him and sing him. But if that was the closest thing that came to a cult to Thanatos, then that's probably the closest that came to it. But now, modern days, there probably are a lot of people that worship Thanatos. And of course, why would you? Of course, Thanatos, I worship Santa Muerte. Okay? I love her. I love her very much. And I do work with many death deities. I do know of San La Muerte, which is not the same thing as Santa Muerte. That's Santa Muerte is an Argentina spirit. I do work with deities of the dead and dark deities. But a good, again, one of the good things that you would pray to him for is to pray for to have a peaceful death. One way to, you could, I'm sure people use him to call upon, hey, bring death upon my enemy, blah blah blah. Or if you have an animal that is suffering, to please, help, help me, or you know allow me to have the money to get my cat euthanized, help me to find a place where I could put my dog down. Or if my snake is approaching older age, please, don't let him or her suffer. I love my animals. I don't want to see them suffer. I try to prolong life as long as possible and as comfortable as possible. And as you'll know, speaking of death, Shadow passed May 10th. I had to have him euthanized, and it was the best thing for him. He had very bad congestive heart failure, and he had a mass that was looking like cancer. But the congestive heart failure and his age, 2 months shy of 19, it just was not good. So I did my best for him with what I had and what I could do, and the vet care and the medicine couldn't save him. So I gave him a peaceful end. Thanatos, if you know someone who is dying, maybe you could pray to Thanatos to ease their pain. Or we can use Thanatos as a power to end things that no longer serve us. I'm not saying go out and kill someone. No. What I'm saying is, if you have to end something, maybe a relationship is no longer serving you. Maybe a behavior is no longer serving you. And if you can end it, hey, maybe that goes through therapy or medication or meditation or a change of scenery. Maybe bringing it a peaceful end to a job, a lifestyle, a habit. Again, an end, death to the old ways and into the new. Sometimes you can't have a beginning without an ending, a new beginning without an ending. This, it's not actually the sun setting in the east, but to our view, it looks like the sun is setting in the east, rising in the east, rising in the east and setting in the west. Sorry. Rising in the east and setting in the west. Did I just go to a parallel universe or whatever? But anyways, it's been a long, busy day. I haven't had a lot of chances to sit down today. But, some people have, hey, there's a good working relationship with Thanatos, then all the better for you. So, speaking of Thanatos, we are a month away, a month and several days away from Samhain, so I'm in the Halloween Samhain type of mood. But things that you could, of course, I mean, it's no big thing. What would use for an altar to Thanatos if you whether permanent or temporary? Think of bones, images of skulls, pictures of places of the dead. Think of black stones or coal. Coal. Uh, Coffins. Ooh, I hear a storm coming on. Think of a scythe, a sword, an upside down torch, his pictures of his flowers. Jet is a good stone to work with him. So think of coal stones. Okay, let's go into stones. Fossils, especially black ones, are really good. But fossils, jet, a black diamond, and a black onyx. Obsidian, black obsidian, of course. What else would I associate with him? The scent that is probably good for him is definitely myrrh. Especially very deep, dark scents. Is he approachable? Yes and no. How do you feel about death? Are you creeped out by it? Maybe he's not that approachable for you. Uh, for he has a very like a peaceful somberness to him, but it's also very scary. He is considered one of the dark deities. So some people will feel relief with him, others feel more calm. So anyways, when is it, kitty? Someone's at the door. I didn't want to let them in. I should let them in. Not only, he's also not only the death giver. I should mention, this is what I want to mention. He's a psychopath who also escorts the newly dead to their new home. He actually delivers the soul. So Thanatos has been seen as macabre, a villain, evil, unjust, cruel, sadistic, And that's their own view, their own insecurities about death. So, also, to another thing is he was, as one of the children of Nyx, he was an Erebus. He was called the black child of Nyx and Erebus. Just think about that. The darker child, the black child of death. So he was considered one of the minor gods. And threats, bribery, bargaining, pleading never swayed him from doing his job. So he did his job regardless of pleas, pleading, bargaining, trading. Nope. Not at all. He wasn't going to go for that. He did his job regardless. Now, again, there were other spirits of the dead who were more violent death, who came for people. Which, when you think about it, if Ares got angry that people could die, so he was the big head honcho of death. So apparently, if no one could die when Thanatos was tied up, he was the head honcho of the power of death. He did not rule the land of the dead. That was Hades' position. Hades, which is pronounced Hades. I'm sorry, I'm just going over this again because I just want to make this clear. That even though there was other spirits of death, once Thanatos was tied, no one could die, even through war. And once Thanatos was free, well, then the other spirits were allowed to do their job. Another epithet of Thanatos was Paean, Paean, P-A-E-A-N, means to deal with healing. Not health, but healing, the healing. Which was to deliver one from misfortune, horrors, or evil. Then it dealt with physical healing. So he dealt with the sweet kiss of death, the sweet release of death. Anyways, I think I've talked a lot about him. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. So sorry about the chaos. Now Sir Mew Mew and Joker are sitting here. Let's see if anyone wants to come in. Is there any kitty that wants to make an appearance? Now, also, I want to mention the Keres. The Keres, K-E-R-E-S. These are female spirits that were Thanatos' sister. And there's the ones that, came for those who died of a bloody, violent, horrible death, as well as disease. I mean, there were other spirits that dealt with death. Artemis was, a death dealer to well, she's not a spirit of death, but she was a death dealer to the females. And remember, I talked about what Apollonos did and whatever. Let's stay with death. Hades. You got Chiron or Sharon, who transported the dead across the river Styx. You have Atropos, who was one of the three Morai of faith, who was responsible for ending the people's lives. She is one of the fates. That's what I was looking for. So there are different death dealers, but Thanatos is the god, is the lord, the spirit of death. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. Hope you enjoyed it. Share this this video with your friends and family on Facebook. And I just want to make an announcement. Please, 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 if you want a cat or a dog, a rabbit, the shelters are filled or overflowing. They need help. If you don't want to adopt, then at least think about fostering. And a cat or a dog or a rabbit is not a toy. It's not just a gift that when they get a little bit older, you just throw out like a piece of shit. Okay? They're not a chair. They're not a table. They are not a television. They are living beings. Okay? A cat is at least a 15-year commitment. So if you get one, be sure that you can keep this animal well fed, sheltered. Tight kicking a dog and leaving it out on a chain outside in the weather, means you're a piece of shit. Okay? You don't get a dog or a cat as a spoof gift, a gag gift. It's a commitment. They're part of the family. Okay? And if you don't consider them a part of the family, at least consider them a living being that needs food, that needs medicine, that needs, attention and your time. Make sure you get the right breed of cat. If you're going for a full purebred, some cats are very good with people, like ragdoll cats, very attuned to people's emotions. So if you're suffering depression or anxiety, a ragdoll cat could be for you. But remember, kittens, or when you get a kitten, make sure you kitten-proof your home. Okay, kittens like to put everything in their mouths. Same thing as puppies. You gotta puppy-proof the home. Proof the home. And I'm saying this because everywhere I go, I see, where I go to different shelters and stuff, I see animals overflowing. I was going to adopt these two kittens. I want to, but I don't have my home kitten proof, and they were rag dolls, and it broke my heart. They were about like 8-9 weeks old. They were so beautiful, the softest kittens you'd ever touch. I was already gonna name one Harley Quinn. They were both girls, but I really wanted to give them a good home because I know I can. but I really hope they do get a good home. But I just wanted to say that public announcement. Also, another announcement. I'm going to see Cradle of Filth soon with Double Driver. It's going to be a great concert. And my birthday's coming up, September 30th. So, anyways, thank you so much for watching. Love to you all. Peace to you all. And as always, blessed be. Oh, one more thing. One more thing before I shut off. Go on YouTube. Look at Vincent DeSanti. He has a movie coming out in mid-October on YouTube. I think October 13th. Never Hike Alone Part 2. Check out his movies. Never Hike in the Snow, Never Hike Alone, and now there's going to be Never Hike Alone 2, and a special actor who played the original Jason is going to be playing Tommy Jarvis. So check it out. And as always, blessed be.